Hola, my friends. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm Jordan from Yoni Swell, and I'm honored to share the space with you today and to talk about the vagus nerve and the seven chakra system that we all have within our energy field, and how these two can be correlated together as a way to really connect to your body's consciousness, to connect to your intuition, and to really work through emotionally regulating your nervous system. And so essentially what we are bringing in is we are honoring that Saturn has been in Pisces for about 2.5 to 3 years now and is balsamic to Neptune in Pisces. And what that means is Saturn and Neptune are now meeting up at the very end degrees of the sign of Pisces. And Saturn represents your physical reality, the container of your consciousness and how you experience the physical world. Neptune represents spirituality. It represents your higher self. It represents if you were to have a glass of water, Saturn is the container and Neptune is the water. So Neptune, Pisces energy is the ocean where there are no boundaries. It's where new beginnings happen while the old is dissolving. And so if you're experiencing all of these new soul desires that are coming through while the old reality is collapsing, culminating, and closing, soul lessons coming to an end, this is exactly what this energy is. And the reason why I bring this up and the reason why it can be significant for talking about the vagus nerve, I'm going to be referencing the polyvagal theory and your chakras. So the vagus nerve being within the anatomy of the human body, uh, I would say it's our most advanced technology. I am not a doctor, but that's exactly the point of why I bring this up, is that we all have this innate wisdom. And when we get in tune with our intuition and our body's messages, we're actually able to make wise, calming, responsible decisions before anything gets worse, or it can be a preventative, right? So the reason why I bring this up is because polyvagal theory, the vagus nerve, the anatomy of our human body is, we'll call it science, and correlating it with and integrating it with the ancient wisdom of our seven chakra system would be spirituality. And when Saturn meets up or enters the sign of Pisces and then meets up for the first time in our lifetime, the planet Neptune, that is the scientist meeting the mystic, right? You can call Saturn the scientist, you can call Neptune the mystic, but they're both in Pisces. And what they've been doing for, well, Neptune from 2011 has been creating a path for a decay of an old consciousness from the Piscean age that we are actually outgrowing and transmuting as we are moving into the Aquarian age. And then you bring Saturn, who is closing out a 30-year cycle and has never met up with Neptune in Pisces in this lifetime, is actually helping us restructure our consciousness so that we can close out the cycles of the past and begin to build the new earth together as they move into Aries together. Um, Starting at the end of this month, really, January 26th, Neptune moves back into the sign of Aries. We'll never again return to Pisces in our lifetime. Neptune takes 165 years to go around the sun, and Saturn will follow, entering Aries on February 13th, and will not return to Pisces at the same time as Neptune in our lifetime either. And Saturn will then begin its 30 years to go around the sun again. So we are significantly experiencing a lot of endings that are taking place, and we are meant to move forward and create a new foundation from a place of alignment, masculine and feminine within us all, shaping the new earth together as individuals, but also in community. So today I am going to simply pull up some images looking at the vagus nerve, and then I'm going to highlight one of the slides that is a part of my free PDF and meditation guide called Mastering Your Intuition. And you can find that link below to subscribe so that you can receive this resource. And what that is a journey through, a reflective journey through sitting with each chakra and allowing yourself to process what each chakra means and how it can show up in your life as a resource for healing and emotionally regulating, and really taking a look at how, your mental body, your physical body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body are being affected. It is a great resource for preventing illness and to creating energetic balance in your life. And so that meditation guide can really help you hone into the root of the number one thing, your greatest guide, which is connecting to your intuition, creating a life that feels in alignment, where you are trusting yourself, cultivating that clarity, confidence, and ease in your everyday in a very practical way. And so I'm going to correlate the two and show you how you can really utilize the vagus nerve, the polyvagal theory, with your own seven chakra system and your unique energy, and how you're able to bring that forward for yourself and a way to contribute to the whole and helping others. This is a preview of the workshop I hold every month that you can simply sign up for today. If this work resonates, I encourage you to do that. Our next one is coming up at the end of the month, and you can find that information below. If you do have any questions, please reach out and share in the comments what you experienced during this video. I'd love to hear your experience between your own human anatomy, checking in with your nervous system, and how you experience that in congruence with your seven chakra system. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just start this by sharing a PDF of the vagus nerve. And please know I will reference this in the information in the description box below, because this is based on the polyvagal theory, and I want to properly reference that with integrity and appropriate representation. And so this is intended to also bring awareness around a trauma-informed lens. Because when our nervous system is dysregulated and our emotions are not regulated, we are likely experiencing, based on the polyvagal theory, a form of a trauma response. And this can be so nuanced and on so many different levels. And I will just briefly bring up that document as well to give you a snapshot of what we're looking at when it comes to the ventral vagal state, which is, the color green. That's when we're most curious. And when we are excited to hang out with friends and family, we feel social and we feel confident to take, calculated risks, and we feel safe, essentially, right? And then there's fight, flight, and then there's freeze, fawn. And that can really help educate you about your daily reality when you are triggered, and perhaps knowledge around the level of stress that you experience. Because I'm very transparent about my own experience, which led me to this work. A lot of my life, I've been operating from a form of a trauma response, just from a simple, point of stress. Um, that is within definitely like fight, flight, and even freeze. And I've been doing my own emotional inner work to really get to the root of that, which would be very scorpionic. Um, and so I really hope that this is educational for you, both on an intellectual and a somatic level. Because sometimes when we bring in the intellectual information and combine it with the somatic um, emotional experience, we process it perhaps faster or on a deeper level. It really depends on how you experience your own nervous system, your body, and how you respond and how you learn. So I welcome in these different various ways to support you. And so we're looking at the vagus nerve, right? So I am zoomed in a little bit here. I'm going to zoom out, hopefully. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay. So this is going to be brief, right? Because I welcome you to really check this out where I go into more depth during the workshop. And so feel free to check out that information below and I will just go right into it. So the vagus nerve starts here, right? And you can see it's sort of this like flower looking shape. And it starts there and then it travels down to, you can see these three, I want to call them, yeah, we'll call them branches. Okay, right? So this is immediately like starting from, midpoint from your third eye, right? Into your throat chakra. Okay, and this is directly affecting the brain, right? The brain and the body. So we can actually correlate this to the third eye and also to the crown chakra, right? But it's important to note that the crown chakra is literally where energy leaves. And when we pass from, the earthly realm and back into the spiritual realm, we exit through the crown. So it plays a more objective and neutral point, whereas this is more applicable to the third eye. And this is the throat chakra. And so if you've ever been, for example, in a freeze mode, freeze trauma response, you are likely feeling it in your throat. And if it has anything to do with communication and utilizing your voice for safety on some level, whether it's actually happening in your physical reality and or a memory that's coming up, you will feel this through the vagus nerve in your throat chakra. Okay. And then this stays connected and moves down into, through the lungs. So your breath may be affected, shortened. There's all kinds of ways that the oxygen is not getting through the body. And then it meets down at the heart space, right? This whole entire area. And then this area right here would qualify as the solar plexus, right? So that would be when you feel disempowerment, or perhaps you're not able to step up and ask for what you need or state what you need, or perhaps something is just keeping you feeling helpless and even hopeless. That would be, again, a freeze fawn response. And also we, experience, like, for example, when we are in a healthy form of fight flight, perhaps we actually feel powerful in our solar plexus. And we are, doing like an interval training, working out, CrossFit, or, going on a run or something where we're actually like moving the energy through our body in a healthy way. Like there's so many different activities that you can do. But that would be like a more healthy expression, right? The solar plexus, yeah, you'll feel it sort of maybe like a tightness or something will feel blocked down here in your solar plexus, just below your chest and above the belly button, right? So then the vagus nerve continues and it hits all the areas, right? Your stomach. So we often feel like a tightness when we're feeling a lot of anxiety and stress. we will feel a tightness in our stomach. And this could be like a repetitive thing that comes up when you are exposed to different subject matters, topics, um, needing to have conversations, or a lot of times, interacting with family or uncomfortable work situations. Um, this is also where we feel butterflies, when we feel excited and perhaps are feeling, a feeling of love, right? A feeling that love that starts here and then really travels up to the heart space, right? So there's both sides. We live in a reality polarity where there's both expressions, right? So then this would be leading down to your sacral chakra, right? So this would be considered sacral, from your liver to the stomach, um, and then even to the spleen, kidney area, and then the vagus nerve travels down to the small intestine down here, and this would be considered your root chakra, right? And so then that would actually apply to from the very low pit of your stomach, the lower hip area, all the way down to your feet. Okay, so yeah, this is the vagus nerve, but really when I look at it, I'm seeing the chakra system, okay? And both have such wisdom and intelligence that we can utilize in terms of emotionally regulating and really going within and connecting to our intuition as our greatest guide, which allows us to operate from our heart space and also allow us to utilize our brain, our logical mind, as a powerful resource to support our intuition. Okay. So then I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pull up one other, this is another resource for the polyvagal theory that speaks into where the vagus nerve is traveling. And I won't show this for long because, again, I really welcome you to attend the workshop. But this will give you an idea of what we will be going into. This is an example of how our nervous system can respond and the different feelings that can come up. And then if you look to the very right, this will show the state that you are in, and it also shows how the anatomy of the body is responding and can respond. And then this is how we get sick. Honestly, this is how certain things manifest in the body if we are not learning how to manage our nervous system in a healthy way, learning how to emotionally regulate in a healthy way, and also the reason why people, get Reiki healing, for example, is because they are seeking to have their chakra system cleansed and cleared. And so when we have blocks within our energy field, within the chakras, if a chakra is blocked, it will respond in a similar way that the polyvagal theory is showcasing, is displaying. Now, I want to let you know that this channel is informative around trauma-informed practices, but also this is not psychotherapy. So I do encourage you to take responsibility for your health and wellness and to see a therapist if this interests you and you feel that psychotherapy is what you need. I am becoming a licensed marriage and family therapist, though I am not licensed yet. So I am not coming from that point of view. I'm coming from a person who is trauma informed and providing resources for you to make a decision and to gain knowledge and make a responsible decision that leads you to the next step that is really going to help you. There are various ways to handle that. But again, if psychotherapy is what you need, then I encourage you to take action to pursue that. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This would be the ventral vagal state for your nervous system, where we feel calm and connection, settled, grounded. We feel curious, open, compassionate, mindful. This would be fight, flight. Different feelings that we experience are rage, anger, irritation, frustration, panic, fear, anxiety, worry, and concern. And then if you're in the red, you're in the freeze state and also could be in the fawn state. This can go from dissociation, numbness, depression, raised pain threshold, right? Because your body is trying to protect you, keep you safe. So your pain threshold will sort of go into a numbing state, right? You can experience helplessness, hopelessness, feel trapped, shut down. And then there's a process of, if you're peaking at the freeze mode, there's a process for the body to come down and re-regulate. And that is something that we go into in the workshop, just as a way to educate how this relates to our 7 chakra system and how we can really be our own agent of positive change when it comes to emotional regulating. Okay, and then I'm going to share uh, this is one page from my complimentary PDF and meditation guide where I guide you through each chakra and share with you the planetary rulers in addition to the goddess ruler. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this and I welcome you to really settle in and take a moment to identify in your body where your root chakra is. Below your belly button, it's around the hip crease area and below. Okay, and then really feel, give yourself a chance to somatically experience what the root chakra means for you and how it may show up in your life. Okay. So this is an opportunity for reflection. We are talking about the root chakra, which is the first chakra, okay? And the colors that are associated with the root chakra is a deep red. And the rulers are Pluto, Uranus, and Saturn. Saturn being the conditioning that we grow up in. Uranus being the source for awakening so that we can individuate and separate ourselves from any conditioning that does not resonate with who we naturally are. And that Pluto is the root of the root chakra. So it's actually Pluto underneath the soil, underneath your own soil. That is your soul speaking and expressing itself, emanating from within and bringing forward, bringing to the surface from, the lens of excavation, getting down to the root of, is this my truth? Is this who I naturally am? What are my soul's desires that need to come forward? And that Pluto will unearth those soul's desires, and then it will activate your own Uranus Aquarian energy, and it will fragment whatever the conditioning Saturn is that is no longer resonance with who you naturally are in your truth, so that you can create a new reality from your nature, from your intuitive essence, and what feels true for you on a soul level without being controlled by anyone or anything that is external. The sound for the root chakra is a bumblebee. And the goddess ruler is the original Lilith. And the original Lilith in the myth, the Greek myth, was Adam's first wife. And she is known as the original female. Please use discernment when you learn about Lilith, because there is the original Lilith and then there's Black Moon Lilith, who is not original Lilith, but is an expression of Lilith from the point of view of being exiled, and then what that essence of that pure wildness means. They are different when you're talking about these Liliths. So we're only focusing on the original Lilith, which is the purest form of you on a soul level. So when we look at your natal chart and we look to your Lilith, if you are a cisgender female, that Lilith will represent the purest form of your soul's nature and what you are here to not ever compromise in this life. And Lilith can never be distorted. It is a protected version of you that you can always return to, that holds the essence of your purest form of you on a soul level. So that would require going into the birth chart, looking at the house, the sign, and then the aspects that are happening or that are interacting with that Lilith. Now, I share this because I work with clients on a one-on-one basis. I do have a group container, and the basis, the foundation of your one-on-one coaching container starts with your natal chart. Now, each one-on-one container is based upon what the client needs. And so we create your container together. And in my work, whether or not you utilize the astrology throughout our coaching client experience together, we still start with the natal chart as a way to highlight and bring your unique energy signature to life so that we can also identify your soul's intention and purpose in this life. Okay. And so the original Lilith is really important. If you are a cisgender male, then oftentimes the original Lilith placement represents your ideal partner. So we are not talking about sex and gender, but also we are looking at it from that lens because it does mean something different for the cisgender female and the cisgender male. Okay. And overall, the root chakra signifies a clear and healed root chakra, allows all of the chakras to find balance. So if you have a distorted, blocked root chakra, then every other chakra above is going to be affected in a distorted way. And so when we have a root chakra that is in a healthy expression, a natural expression, that is fluid and the energy is flowing, it is grounded in self-reliance. We honor our needs and communicate with authenticity. The root chakra, it embodies the undistorted feminine and masculine giving, sharing, and inclusion through natural and universal timeless laws. Okay. Keywords are safety, stability, belonging, and a rooted foundation. So, for example, right now, all of the personal planets being in Capricorn, closing out their time in Capricorn as they move into Aquarius, they are still, while in Capricorn, ruled by that Saturn. And because Venus is leading, and then it's the sun, and then it's Mars, and then it's Mercury, and then eventually Mercury will move up, there is a sacred alignment that is happening from within. We are entering this new earth energy from a very balanced, stable, rooted, strong foundation if you've been doing the work. Like, this is different for everybody, and I'm not going to comment. This is between, whoever you are. It really comes down to your relationship with spirit and, your own relationship to what you are experiencing in life and what your perspective of life and you in it. So I'm not going to comment on, who's doing what, but from my own perspective, I do believe that if you've been doing the emotional inner work and really creating a space to move into this new energy, especially since 2019, 2020, so much change has happened in our world, but also from within. So I feel that if you've been doing the inner work, you really are entering the new earth energy when Saturn and Neptune goes into Aries from a very strong new foundation of a sense of self that has healed. And is healing and is empowered and really is honoring themselves as an individual, their values, really honoring their self-worth and has clarity around their values, their boundaries, and what they are ready to create in the tangible world as an individual while also in community. And what does partnership really mean? And so having this knowledge around what the root chakra symbolizes, and then really having a presence with your intuition so that you can somatically feel into when your root chakra feels blocked or when it feels activated in a natural expressive type of way, or maybe when it feels like it has been um, it just may feel stuck, or it may feel like an icky feeling, really being in tune with that and then connecting to it as an archetype, connecting to how it's really showing up within and through your intuition. You have this inner wisdom within you. And it also requires you to be educated about what it represents. And then you always have the vagus nerve, your nervous system, as a way to really combine the two as your own scientific and spiritual knowledge that is helping you become whole so that we can really return to our nature and move forward in this new earth energy from a place of alignment and from a place that feels like we are living our blueprint, our fingerprint uniquely as us while also contributing to the whole. So that is a highlight to the meditation, the PDF and meditation guide that is available for you to download for free. And then we have our workshop coming up at the end of the month. It's called Embodying Your Feminine Current, and it's 90 minutes. The information is below. Please join. It is about connecting with your own intuition and also in community with others. So that is it for today. I will see you on the next video that I will be posting I will be posting soon. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending you oceans of love, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next one. Take care.